Good morning, everybody. Lee Zeldin, former Congressman here in New York. I'm guilty of once and for a long time in my life believing that New York City was the capital of the world. Until I had my first trip to Israel. I was sitting on the steps. The tour guide was saying these are the steps that Jesus walked to go to the temple, not a temple, the temple. And there was an Islamic call to prayer that was getting played over the loudspeaker as it was happening. Never after that have I referred to New York City as the capital of the world. I came back home. I came back to Congress to share a perspective that all Americans should see for themselves. One term that is most abused in American politics is the word friend. It's easy to earn a status as friend when times are easy, but it becomes more difficult for the people who don't earn that status, who don't deserve that status, when times are tough. And right now, times are tough. It's at a moment like this where we have to be honest with ourselves here in our country, with others around the world. If you're serious about wanting to strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship, if you're serious about wanting to tackle the rise of anti-Semitism on our streets, on college campuses, and in the halls of government, there are truths that need to be spoken that too many are not just in need of a tweet on. They're dead silent. And when we've lowered standards with some elected officials that when we do get a tweet, we celebrate that as if that is progress. Right now, we all should be speaking up with one voice. And every time that you see pressure that is placed on Israel, that they should be accepting a ceasefire, I am looking for you to talk about the reality that is Hamas. You should be talking about the need to bring home our hostages. You should be talking about Hamas not being at the table, that they haven't accepted a ceasefire deal, that Hamas has pledged to wage jihad until Israel is eliminated, that it is Hamas that says that a Palestinian who negotiates with an Israeli is not a real Palestinian. These are truths that need to be spoken. My daughters just started college. They're freshmen. Fortunately, they're on two campuses that aren't struggling with the reality of encampments. They aren't Jewish students who can't get from their dorm to the classroom without fear of being attacked for being Jewish. They aren't going through an experience where they are unable to get to the library without proving that they aren't Jewish. What happens thousands of miles away couldn't possibly feel any closer to home. All of us being here right now in this moment, while we might be thousands of miles away, needs to be taking place at breakfasts, at cities and other communities all across America. There are times when it is easy. Yes, I heard September 11th, 2001 just being referenced. It was September 11th of 2023 when this country sent billions of dollars over to the Iranians just weeks before the October 7th attacks. We need to confront the threat of Iran head on. We need to understand that Israel is a beacon of freedom and democracy in a dark region of the world. This is a bond that there can't be any daylight, and for anyone who's in government, I challenge you to do your part to earn the status of being our nation's greatest friend, of this most important and sacred bond between the United States and Israel. It is about our country right now. Yes, Bibi was right. An attack on Israel on October 7th from a threat that does view us as the great Satan. It is an attack on the United States. It is a threat that exists as we look beyond what happens in one moment in time nearly a year ago, is emanating from a threat that is developing intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, intercontinental, not for Israel, but for the United States. It is U.S. service members who are abroad in harm's way. Protecting America's interest. It is in America's interests to ensure that we have Israel's back. It is in America's interests to make sure that there is stability around the world. It is in America's interest to make sure that other countries know that at the United Nations, when votes are cast, we are watching when you are trying to advance what really is a move against everything that the UN was created for in the first place. Yes, this is a moment where there's nowhere more important for all of us to be than right here, right now. We pray for Israel. We pray for the Israeli people. We pray for this relationship, but we must work hard because prayer enough won't be enough. But we can't go without prayer in our life. We can't go without God in our life. And we were reminded yesterday that there was divine intervention that continues to keep President Trump alive. We are all here in this world for a purpose. We self-reflect on what that purpose is. Sometimes it's clear as day, other times we don't know. But when we are in a position to do something, we challenge those who say it cannot be done. We don't just do it to fulfill a promise that was made by you or people in the past. You do it because it's right and because you know that there always is a way to accomplish just about anything in this world. That is why the embassy in Israel got moved to Jerusalem. That's why Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights was recognized. That's why the Abraham Accords became into existence and should continue to expand. That's why the Taylor Force Act was signed into law here to make sure the U.S. tax dollars don't get spent to finance and reward those who incentivize terror abroad. That's why the Iran nuclear deal was withdrawn from this government. Whoever is in charge of our government in the months and the years to come, we call on them to be prayerful, to be purposeful, to be courageous, to ensure you're doing your part to earn the title of the greatest friend in the United States towards the U.S.-Israel alliance, to fulfill not just pledges, but to keep the peace, to ensure that you're doing it not just for America, but for our kids and our grandkids and our future. America must never cease to exist. Israel must never cease to exist. And the only way for that to happen is for the bond between America and Israel to always, the next day, be stronger than it was the day before. That's why we are here today. We will continue to fight courageously for what is right. We will pray for our brothers, and we must succeed. Thank you so much for everything that you do, for being here. Let's spread the word and get others across America to do the same. God bless all of you.